I got involved with Sal on a casual level at some dinners together through other friends, and we started a cutting contest. And in the course of that, Sal sponsored me for about 2.5 years competing in the cutting contest. And when I retired from the cutting circuit, Sal asked me to design a rough use utility folder with the same steel that I used on my competition knife. And at that time, M4 steel was brand new to the market. It's the only knife I ever designed from a purely utilitarian viewpoint. I made no concessions to any artistic embellishments. Every surface and every feature of the knife was strictly utilitarian. The grip is big and the finger grooves are undefined, and that's for guys that wear gloves. The finger choil and the tip, the length of the blade was determined by being able to use the tip in a fine cut, support it and control it. The handle, as opposed to the blade is a little short by most people's standard, but there again, it was for a guy with a glove on, and the blade length was relative to how much I felt you could use comfortably. The one thing that's been mentioned on the forums is the blade is dropped down from the handle, and that is for a reason to engage the blade in your work. If you hold the knife in a push cut and that blade is straight and you're making a heavy cut, you can see the way I'm holding it, that blade is angled down, and that will keep the blade engaged in your work in a heavy cut, even if your wrist gives a little bit. And one of the other things they ask about is why, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, why are the liners proud to the grip? And there was 3 reasons for that. One is this knife was not going to be contoured. So that gives you a contour, a round belly and a round spine without having to hand contour it. It's also a concession to manufacturing. When they cut the scales and the frame, they don't have to match perfect. And then the third reason was, I think it just kind of looks cool. The lock does not have the typical release to release the liner lock. And the reason I did that, I have no trouble. My wife is my test person. If she can open and close them, most anybody can. But I wanted to do that where if you're holding the knife in a real powerful cutter, you're using it in a heavy-duty situation, you can't twist the blade and disconnect the lock. It's not a combat knife. It's designed for a work knife. It's not one to sit and just casually flip. The carbon fiber scales were done to try to shed some weight. It's got heavy liners. They're 80 thousandths thick. So to shed some of the weight, we used carbon fiber, but it is textured where you have grip. It has some jimpling on the thumb area. The pocket clip, like most of Spyderco knives, is up or down, carry, left or right. You can go to any one of the 4 corners. The blade steel is M4 blade steel, and it is not a stainless. It is a very high vanadium content carbon steel, but it was the toughest and best edge holding steel that we could come up with for the competition knives. And that's why the steel was used. And then it's got a lot of belly in the blade from one end to the other, so you can use it for a hunter. I've got several friends that use them for folding hunters. That's about the story on it.